Not every fish can get along with your betta. In fact, some innocent looking fish can actually be dangerous or even deadly. Welcome back, y'all, and today we're breaking down which fish you should never put with your betta, why some common species are a disaster waiting to happen, and a few tried and true tank mates that actually work. Let's get into it. Bettas are beautiful, bold, and full of personality, but they're also naturally very territorial, especially the males. That means your betta could see certain tank mates as a threat, and that can lead to serious stress or aggression. Even if your betta seems really calm, stress can build up and add up over time. Constant flaring, chasing, or even being chased can shorten their lifespan or cause illnesses. It's not about whether or not a fish may look aggressive, but whether or not your betta sees them as a threat. Betta compatibility depends on a few key factors: fin shape and color of the other fish, tank layout and size, and the individual temperament of your specific betta. A setup that works for one betta might be a disaster for another, so that's why it's important to understand what kind of tank mates just absolutely do not mix. So let's go over some of the common tank mates that most people think are fine, but actually could be problematic. Number 1, guppies. They're colorful, fast, and flashy, and that's exactly the problem. Bettas will often mistake them for rival males and will either constantly flare or outright attack. Even if your betta doesn't attack, guppies may nip at their fins, especially if kept in smaller tanks. Number 2, tiger barbs. Barbs are notorious for nipping. Even when kept in large schools where they're typically less aggressive with each other, they'll still tend to go after slow-moving, long-fin tank mates like bettas. Tiger barbs are especially a huge no. Number 3, other male bettas. This one may seem obvious, but it's still worth mentioning. You shouldn't keep two males in the same tank. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna fight and it's not gonna be pretty. Number 4, female bettas. Female bettas are often marketed as peaceful, but putting them in pairs or trios can sometimes lead to bullying. Sorority tanks require very careful planning. Heavily planted 20-gallon plus tanks with lots and lots of hiding spaces, but even then, it's kinda hit and miss. And number 5, angelfish. They may look elegant and peaceful, but angelfish are cichlids. They can get extremely territorial, and their long fins and slow pace makes them vulnerable and very reactive. They often don't get along with bettas, and it usually ends in damaged fins on both sides. Now, some species may not be aggressive, but might be incompatible for other reasons. Speed, activity level, and environmental needs may make them a bad match. Our first 2 on this list are neon tetras and cardinal tetras. These schooling fish are extremely fast and dart around a lot. If they're kept in too small a group or too small of a tank, they can get very nippy. Their activity level can overstimulate bettas and create constant low-level stress. Next up, mollies. Live bears may seem peaceful, but they're social, energetic, and thrive in harder, more alkaline water. Bettas typically prefer softer, slightly acidic water, and keeping them together means potentially compromising water parameters, either on the live bear side or the betta side. Next up, danios. Zebra danios are super active and love to zip across the tank. Bettas usually hate this kind of energy, and the constant movement may make it hard for them to feel secure. So now that we've talked about who not to keep them with, who can we keep bettas with? Number 1, snails. These are some of the best betta buddies. Mystery snails and near-eyed snails tend to stay out of the way, help clean algae, and don't typically trigger any aggressive responses. Although bettas will sometimes pick at their antenna. Number 2, corridoras. Peaceful, bottom-dwelling, and social, cory cats make fantastic tank mates. Just be sure to keep them in groups of at least 4 to 5 and provide a soft, smooth substrate. Number 3, coolie loaches. These eel-like bottom dwellers are shy, peaceful, and best kept in groups. They spend most of their time hiding during the day, which makes them almost invisible to bettas. Number 4, otocinclus. Ottos make a fantastic community fish. They're peaceful, they mind their own business, and your betta won't usually even notice them. But, and this is a big one, they are very picky eaters. A lot of beginners lose ottos without even knowing why. They need a well-established tank and plenty of natural algae and biofilm to graze on. Most of these fish tend to be wild caught and often will not touch algae wafers, at least not at first. So keeping them in a clean new tank, they can actually starve. So unless your tank is extremely well established and has a healthy layer of growth, I would skip these for now. And number 5, shrimp. Shrimp are another hit or miss tank mate. They're extremely peaceful, they help with cleanup, and they can coexist with bettas, especially in heavily planted tanks. But here's the truth. Some bettas will leave them alone and others will find them to be a tasty snack. It totally depends on your betta's personality. If you want to try it out, you start with 1 or 2, maybe a ghost shrimp or an amano shrimp, and see how your betta reacts. And you want to have plenty of hiding spots, moss, and backup plants in place just in case. And if you're looking for a few more schooling fish that tend to do well with bettas, ember tetras, harlequin rasboras, and chili rasboras are usually pretty safe bets. They're small, they're peaceful, and they're typically not seen as flashy enough that they trigger an aggressive response from the betta. Just make sure to give them plenty of space and keep them in proper sized groups. If you do decide to keep your betta in a community tank, here are some of my best tips. Use a 10-gallon tank or larger, preferably larger. Remember, bigger is always better. The best success is usually 20 gallons or larger. But depending on what you're keeping with your betta, 10 gallons may suffice. Add a ton of plants and hiding spaces. This breaks up the line of sight in the tank and helps kind of give everybody their own space. Monitor everyone very closely during the first week. You want to be ready to rehome a fish or even use a divider if aggression does flare up. And choose peaceful species with shorter fins that are not too fast and not too slow of swimmers, and avoid flashy or colorful fish. Keep in mind, every betta is different. Some are more peaceful and some are a lot more aggressive, and you're not gonna know which is which when you're buying them from the store. At the end of the day, your betta's happiness and health should always come first. It's better to have a peaceful solo betta than to force a community that may cause stress or injury. So anyway guys, that's all I really have for y'all today. As always, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!